Hello students. Now let us see Mendel's laws of inheritance. Now we have learned about the Mendel's first law, that is the law of dominance. In the last lecture we have seen the basic definition of law of dominance like this. In a cross between two organisms pure for any trait contrasting character, the character which appear in the first generation is dominant and suppressed is called as recessive. A cross between homozygous dominant and recessive always expresses the dominant phenotype. Okay, this explains the law of dominance. Now, thus, there is always uniform expression in F1 generation. Now, we will see this expression will be expressed with the help of monohybrid cross. We have seen the monohybrid cross definition like cross between two pure parents differing in a single pair of contrasting character is called as monohybrid cross. So let's see this monohybrid cross with this experiment. Mendel said, what is the experiment? He selected pure parents for tall and dwarfness, and in F1 generation he obtained the result like the tall plants, but they are heterozygous condition. They shows heterozygous condition, that is capital T small t. In F2 generation what they got? Capital capital T small t, capital T small t and small tt. But in F1 generation they got capital T and small t. So in F2 generation the phenotypic ratio is 3:1 ratio. Then he concluded that only dominant character expressed in F1 generation. Curly hairs in humans is also a good example of dominance over the straight hair, so this law is not universally applicable. You have your knowledge why, because there are many cases where dominance is not complete or absent and it shows incomplete dominance. For example, that's why we study the example of 4 o'clock plant Mirabilis jalapa. When red flower is crossed with white shows pink color in F1 generation. Now in F1 generation they got all the pink color. Pink color is in between red and white. So this law is called as a incomplete dominance. Now we will see the second law. From this reappearance, the recessive character in F2 generation concluded in F1 generation factor do not mix but remain together, and during gamete formation these factor separate or segregate. Okay. This is second law of inheritance or the law of segregation. So let's see the second law, which what says the allelic pair in a F1 hybrid segregate or separate during the gamete formation and during the formation of new gametes. It receives only one of the two factors and pure for the given trait. Therefore, this is also called as a law of segregation or the law of purity of the gametes. This law can be explained by monohybrid experiment. Let us see this monohybrid experiment like the similar example of tall plant and dwarf plant. The reappearance of recessive trait in F2 generation proves this law. All sexually reproducing organisms are diploid and gametes are haploid. So, this law is applicable for all organisms and universally applicable. Now we will see the third law of independent assortment, in which the allelic, this law is based on dihybrid cross. Dihybrid cross is what? A cross between two pure parents differing in two pairs of the contrasting characters. This is called as a dihybrid cross. Now, this law of independent assortment, the allelic of different genes get sorted into the gametes independently of one another. In other words, when the dihybrid forms the gamete, assortment of alleles of different traits is independent for their original combination in the parent. Now let's see the dihybrid experiment performed by Mendel. First, Mendel selected a variety of plant having red rounded shape and yellow color crossed with wrinkled and green color. That means color is green and shape is wrinkled. In F1 generation they got what they got, capital R small r capital Y small y, and in F2 generation and found the seeds in F2 generation are of four types: yellow round, yellow wrinkled, green round and green wrinkled in the ratio 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. Out of four types, two were parental combination and two were new. The new combination in F2 generation proves the law of independent assortment. So this law of independent assortment is applicable only for those traits which are on the different chromosomes. So this law is universally not applicable. This is all with the